Good morning, everybody. How exciting. Some real movement here. Not a happy day for longs. It's opening lower into an area where there's some significant support. It started down a couple of days ago, and it's already bounced a bit from there. Started looking with spiders down here. It came down to like 452-ish, which is right in the area of the prior low. So just an obvious place for it to come off of that area. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a retest of that, or maybe even a little bit lower just for good measure. We'll see, but this is a sizable gap. And so here's the gap reversal up near the topping tail. There's that wild action last week. It was totally insane with the Fed move up and then the gap and the slam down, and the S&Ps look the least damaged of the others, which we'll get to. That's funny. Ken says more fun than mortals are meant to have. Yeah. So, we haven't had some real nasty selling in some time. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, look, we're down here, as I mentioned last week. You got to keep these moves in perspective of what's happening while we're focused on what's happening intraday as day traders and traders that are looking to take advantage of short-term opportunities. We also have to keep it in perspective. So this may turn out to be something bigger, but until proven otherwise, meaning we don't know until we really know, this is a wide trading range, which we have seen happen in the past. So we'll see. Down there, big dog. Shish is getting upset that the stock market's moving down so much. Anyway, all right. So as I said, we got to keep it in perspective. It's a wide, whippy trading range, and we'll see how far it bounces today. So let's keep going here. 452. Let's look at the futures, and we'll get to SPX. And kind of mess things up here this morning, pressing some buttons. So this isn't even down to the low. And just from a comfort point of view of, hey, I'm right on this low. Ideally, I mean, I like to see these kind of patterns take the low out. And I've got this was resistance at one point and moved that up, but I'd really like to see this be down here and take this low out. Now, I know that's a giant move. It may be a little asking for a little bit too much, but why not ask for no-brainer trades or think about no-brainer trades? And a typical, even from an intraday trading point of view, and here we have it on a daily time frame, is a greater than 100% retracement. And greater than 100% retracement means it went from one point down to the other point and it took it out. And once it takes it out, if it's a fluid type of a move that goes, looking at this time frame, it's fluid because it's bar by bar, it bounces back up. Now, for this to come all the way down here in one day, that would be a humongous size bar, range bar. From there, how far it retraces, and we'll just see together or whether it even gets down there. There is some support there. So let's just drag this over. And you can see it's in this area here where it's got this pivot. And if I drag it down there, lo and behold, that's where the futures bounce from at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I just have to reiterate because it's my own self-serving promotion of MTS. Remove the squiggly lines, meaning VWAPs, fib lines, Elliott waves, Gann lines, and all that other BS, and look to the damn left. All right. There's a void, and that power move was a void. And it really is kind of crazy to see these kind of moves and then see them being negated. So just the same, this move down is a void, and retesting this area I'm saying I'd like to see it come down here, and that doesn't mean it's going to. Retesting this overnight area and then turning back up could certainly be a long trade. Whether it turns into a bottoming tail bar, gets halfway up and collapses again, we'll find out together. Yeah. All right. So SPX, it's down here, and SPX, and again, I just look for what is so far away where there's a little bit of money. That it's a guaranteed trade, right? Quotes around guarantee, there is none. There's premium down here at 44.40, and there's an unfilled gap. As always, we look at what are our lines of defense. So this is going to be gapping down here. There's a little bit of support as we looked at on the futures on the hourly there. Not exactly the same, but okay, here it is. And 45.40, 45.20, and then, all the way down here. Is it going to get all the way down there today? No. Right. As confident as I can be in saying no on an absolute level, and knowing that anything's possible, I'll say no. It's not going to go down there today. So that level for me looks like a no-brainer. You could go a little bit higher. You're a little more adventurous. I don't think it's going to come down into this 44.59 or 55 area either, because it's got a hell of a long way to go down. And then there's this pivot, and I don't know, well, the 100-day MA is the same as the 20. So you've got, the 100-day, you can see where my horizontal line is moving right around that prior low. There's a moving average there. There's a pivot low there. There's an unfilled gap right here, which has been filled. So it's really not unfilled gap. That bottoming tail bar came down into it. So anywhere in here as to where you're comfortable, but it's, looking at these and saying, where is it virtually impossible to go to? This premium at 44.40. And let's just go back to the futures for a second. That's what often happens is, well, things are stabilized as they are here. Market opens and boom, it comes down, and that premium will probably pop a little bit more. So here's the thoughts for SPX. As far as the upside, it seems inconceivable, but probably a bit more probable if things were to hold right here, get back up there. I think either one is not going to get hit, but this one I think is just not happening. It's not happening today. All right. Nasdaq already down on the low. So this could be the better go-to one. I mean, if the S&Ps retest the overnight low, but this could retest this low, which wouldn't take very much, and it's already down here. Meaning it goes through this and takes out that pivot low to make the turn. Actually, looks like it has taken out that pivot low marginally. Yeah, just marginally took it out. So we'll wait for the open and see how it wiggles out for the first few minutes. Dow was the weaker on the way down, was the stronger on the way up. 200 MA, I would set an alert there, see if it tags it. Looking at the cash Dow. Oh, the diamonds, where are my diamonds? Don't trade that much, but okay, 348, 348 down here. So on the diamonds, you want to set an alert on the moving average. And you don't have to watch it. You just want the computer to keep an eye on that and pop up, ding, ding. Is that the moving average? Okay, that says, hey, start thinking about things are near a turn. You could look at the NYSE tick. Is it at? And I imagine with today's open, that NYSE tick might open up at minus 13, 14, 1500. It should. And then we'll see what happens from there. All right. Russell already had a pretty decent bounce, huh? But, this already did the greater than 100% retracement. It reversed down and broke, come back up again. Now it's down. So it's kind of like fighting for its life here in this area, trying to hold. You can see on the weekly chart, the breakout and the failure and down there. And so there's the ETF. And oil, breaking down, of course, has to move lower with a market like this. That's interesting. I keep an eye on all of these set alerts. Bitcoin going down, so that looks like it's got a retest. And we covered this, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe the correlation between the equity markets and Bitcoin and how this high on November 9th was high in a lot of some of the markets anyway, and some stocks on November 8th. So this looking like it needs to go down. Of course, set an alert, throw it in the thumbnail. There's a lot of things to watch, intraday to see in times like this. Gold, I like it. I guess inflation concerns. I don't know. Where's the inflation going to? Well, we have inflation, okay? Oil and food and all that. We all know about that. And you think, how's it going to accelerate? Now I'm just looking on the news there before, flash, someplace else locking down Omicron. You know what? I think we're all sick of all of this, but we'll see what happens. Silver, nice turn, breakdown failure, look to the left. And we'll see how it all shakes out here today before the Christmas holiday. Maybe this is a good way to get a turn to start. As we start on the way down, maybe get a little bit more of a flush and, to get it out of the system and move on. What else is there to do but trade what is today? And let's look at this here a second. It was interesting, I mentioned this last week, the fact that, after the Fed thing, the short-term interest rates came down and they're projecting having 3 raises next year. So, we always look at the market as all knowing, and whatever the talking heads are saying on the TV, take it with a grain of salt and look at what the markets tell you. And maybe it's because of this Omicron thing. And I don't know, but I look at this and think to myself, this went down when they're saying there's going to be 3 tightening where it should go up. Just that doesn't make sense. So maybe they're not, and the 5-year, that moved down, and the 10-year. So, keep an eye on everything that we talk about each day, and set alerts. Can't have 14 eyes to look at all of them all day long. So you got to utilize the computer to set alerts as to what's relevant levels on some of these. So keep an eye on TBT and see whether it's moving up or down and so on. Yeah, photo guy says, yes, we're sick of the lockdown, still have to deal with it. Yep, definitely sad, but true. There's nothing we can do about it, but hopefully, those that are in less, physical condition, lock themselves down. Ultimately, we're all responsible to take care of ourselves. And if we're not healthy in some way or concerned in some way, lock yourself down. We don't need these people telling me to lock myself down or what to do. So anyway, that's it from me. And let's put on our seatbelts and see how this thing shakes out here in a little while. All right. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Well, you mentioned lockdowns, Greg. We're fortunate enough to be in, I think, the most open state because of our governor. He's signing legislation to prevent lockdowns. So that is a plus for you and me. And yeah, the Netherlands, I read, has been, total shutdown except for non-emergency things. You don't hear me? Sound check, everyone. My mic's on. Yeah, Greg, it's just you. All right, yeah, thanks. Because Greg just texted me that he doesn't hear me, so he just has me muted. Doesn't know it. Yeah, so Greg, anyway, I was saying, you and I live in a fortunate state of Florida with our governor who is going to do everything humanly possible to prevent lockdowns. All right. Friday we have a day off, so option expiration is the weekly is on Friday, which is why it's December 23rd expiration across the board. We gave the bias into the close Friday, and I said lower. I didn't expect this, obviously, but then when I was reading the news, I woke up Saturday and we're getting blasted in the media of the new Corona scare again, is in just full press, Omicron, this and that. And then I saw Manchin come out on Fox on Sunday yesterday saying, nope, I'm not signing that stupid bill. And so I totally expected a market gap down, but the extent I had no idea. But anyway, the other point I'm leading up to is we had primarily bullish positions in the two letters. There were a ton of bullish retest patterns, and it didn't bother me because it's one of those things. Well, they're not going to trigger them, so no harm done. We did give diamonds call spread, but we're not going to get our desired credit, obviously. We had this was a short. Greg mentioned in his weekend video. Looks like it's gapping down 70 cents here, but it has room to fall. Let's see what gappers I have over here. I just saw this one by the ticker RUN, and that's a big gap, almost 10%, and down to 30 and change. Wow, this thing I just noticed the $60. Look at that M top right there. That's an M top. Here's a sell setup. Tan, yeah, tan got whacked pretty good. Can F. This is a little marijuana stock doubling here pre-market. Gap's too big, but BRG up huge. And you can look at that. You can see the news. That's just one immediate igniting bar. Then it just made another one. So nothing to do. It's gap's too big. I missed this one last week. I don't know what made it gap up here like this, but I love looking at just patterns that jump out at me. And look at this beautiful gap reversal right here. Gapped under 3 bars, closing breakout. That would have been, and then yeah, pretty much an inside day. Oh, that's right. That's the one that McGraw mentioned, the unusual option activity. That's right. That's what made it gap on Friday. I read in today's paper, Royal Caribbean just got back from the Caribbean with 44 Corona people. And guess what? The paper said all of them were asymptomatic. And so I was scratching my head. Well, then how did they know they got Corona? It's not like, I don't know. But so obviously that's hurting some of these. We're going to have that whole speech come out again. Oh, cruise ships, petri dish of disease, but they were starting to bottom here, or they're possibly bottom. You know, we never know if it's a bottom until afterwards, but look at Kook. Kook is the foreign brand of Carnival. I mean, this is a W pattern. So now it's gapping down to Friday's low. So I actually like, we're not in it, so we don't have anything to lose. Here's Carnival. Come on, Trey. All right, so I'm going to set an alarm at 18:30 because if it can negate this gap with this bearish news, then that I'm going to have even more confidence in this retest. So you know the usual suspects. You know, we got to look at hotels. What is wrong with my 15-minute chart today? All right. H I actually had in the letter as a shorting the $75 puts over Friday's high, and if it triggers, it's fine. So that's one of those ones that I'm talking about. Even with an ugly market, that's not going to trigger. The only way it will trigger is if it's strong. And somebody's asking about shorting a Delta 20 Zoom. The answer is definitely, because I know 20 Delta is really far away. And I don't even need to look at the strike. The pattern is there. In fact, I was considering doing it Friday morning. This was showing great relative strength. And I just didn't like the market was the only reason we didn't. And, or maybe I said, well, let's see how it closes, and it, you know, kept ripping all day. But yeah, that'd be a no-brainer if there's any juice. Disney, I'm just looking at because their new Spider-Man movie is supposedly had a really big turnout over the weekend. Myrna, big gap up. Yeah, this stock is quite a gapper. I mean, that you have overnight risk on this thing. Up, down, up, down. But now the news is, like, I guess their test said it's good against Omicron or something. ITCI gap up $45. It's a big bullish gap, but we need a pullback. Wow, SOFA. This thing looked like it was left for dead. Let's put that in a little window over here. T-Doc, that's a beautiful retest pattern. It's a W bottom with a new low plus. Beautiful. It's a great reversal. And it's holding pretty well here pre-market. That's on our list for a put spread and maybe 30-minute high, even a long. It looks good. Put that in the window. T-Doc. Dollar Tree. Let's keep an eye on this. It's strong, but it might be rolling over, particularly if traders are getting scared. Dish looks higher. Not much going on pre-market. Oh, Senator Karen. I don't get the, what is, I don't get the joke or the reference. But yeah, Warren, I think I read in the paper she got corona now. Yeah, David, when I started reading the paper on Saturday morning, that's exactly what I wrote that in the commentary. I look up Karen's, or I said exactly that. I'm like, here we go again. The media just pounding in your head, scaring you. Cream, no pattern. XPH, holding better than some others. We'll see if that's going to be the start of the bottom. Bios held up pretty well last week. The biggest gain, well, held up. They actually were one of the strongest. Just eyeballing it, I'm going to set an alert at 116. Bottoming pattern here over, maybe half lot, Friday's high, another half lot, Thursday's high. Chug, bottoming pattern. It's actually holding pretty well here. It's holding well. If it can hold this horizontal, if it can hold above 29 bucks, that ain't bad. F time, I don't see anything there. Bird, little bottoming pattern. Animal sector. Let's set an alarm at 1525. At first I thought bird was that bird was this is All Birds Inc. All right, I guess I don't know what All Birds is, but those little scooters that they were rolling out shoes that they were rolling out all over the country. They had them here in Lauderdale and they took them away. They're supposedly coming back, but I read that Bird is one of the main ones that they're gonna go public. I don't know if it's on a SPAC. So this Bravo Zulu, it is a buy setup, 50% retracement after greater than 100% move. So that's worth watching. COLB. I was watching this as a short on a bounce. Friday was the ideal entry. But I like that on a bounce. MGM. Friday's high. If it can negate these gaps. SKLZ, Friday's high, another kind of retest pattern. We're doing nothing here at the open except managing opens. Yeah, I would really prefer this to keep swan diving. Tick, negative 1500, as Greg mentioned. So, which is obviously bearish. AT and